video. It's gonna be my last one that I released on a daily, whatnot, because I'm gonna have to go back to my job starting tonight, actually. So, hopefully, I will be doing it on a weekly basis. Let me see something real quick. I'm not going to be able to do it between. Let's see. Should be able to do one Friday, hopefully. Sorry, wrong one. Should be able to do one Saturday. Yeah, I was looking at the wrong month. Um, yes, I'm going back to my job. I'm gonna be traveling again, and I'm gonna be traveling all next week. So, should be able to do one this Friday, or this Saturday, and the next Saturday. Should be my two. Hopefully, I'm gonna try for Saturday videos, but that isn't a continuous allowable thing. Um, Hopefully, I will be able to get all this done. Well, yeah. But hopefully Saturdays will be my new launch. Hey, um, Halloween's on a Saturday this year. Interesting. But yeah. So this episode, what we're gonna do is, if it's not clear by the names, we're gonna attempt to send more rovers, the roving bases, up to Minmus, cause that's Mun, because that's the one we have. Or maybe it's Minmus. Whichever one we have the contract for, and then we're going to try to rescue some Kerbals, because I'm not going to worry about expanding on the bases right now, for the simple reason of um, it's not something I want to do, or I don't have time to really do that. So what I'm going to do now is come here. We're going to be sending a rover up, of course, so we can land it and then move to whatever location with whatever it is we're loading. Oh, and by the way, this is going to be at about 2 hours of video, seeing as much as I can do in this video. Let's see, we will go to OpenCraft. What is the thing we need to do? We need to Munbase. Add another research lab and facilities to up to 11. We're at 5. Yeah, I think we're at 5 right now for the surface outpost. So what I'm going to do is this right here. We're going to open this up for a sub-assembly we did. We're going to do not the electrical extension, so we still have to work on that one and get that one fixed. We want the base science, and then we're going to come over here. Actually, return to Space Center. We're going to go to the actual vehicle assembly building, and we'll make the unit there. Alright. But anyway, we'll go to here. Sub-assemblies. The base science is going to be our upper thing. This is what we're going to be utilizing. Alright. We will not be using the stuff from the whatchamacallit. Forget what it is called. I'm not going to be using the I'm not going to be using, I forget what it's called. I honestly forget what it's called. But basically what I'm going to be doing is, this is going to be my transfer stage. Completely forgot what I was going to, or the payload which I'm setting up, which by itself is 200 parts and 17 tons. How much does this big orange tank weigh? So just so you know, the entire rover and the science lab is 17 tons. The tank itself, not including these right here, is 36 tons. This is what we're moving, by the way. So yeah, that's gonna be the largest part we ever move, is that fuel tank. But anyway, this is gonna be our lower stage. What we're gonna do now is coupling. Or not lower stage, it's our payload. I'm gonna add our landing stage. Make it rather large again, except I'm going to use the fuel tank this time instead of the payload parts. And the fuel tank I want is going to be not that one. C7, there we go. I think that's the right one. That fuel tank right there. And then I'm going to go down and head down to that fuel tank. I shouldn't need that big of a fuel tank though. Basically what I'm going to do is set this here, add my engine, see how much delta V we have with my bigger engine. I want this one. See what my delta V and thrust to weight ratio is in a vacuum with that stage. So 2,500. I want a little bit more, because I basically want this one to be the only stage that is its TWR is low as well. So I'm going to need a bit stronger engine than this one right here. Or I could just do this. Alright, so 1.87, rather good thrust weight ratio, but it still now only has 1900 meters per second, so we're going to add more fuel to this. So we can do that in one of two ways. We can take that off like that, and add a fuel tank underneath it. Like that, 2300. The other way we'd be able to do that is to come over here, grab these ones right here, set them up in sets of 4 like that. 3090 meters per second, command and control. Because I know it doesn't take that much to land on the Mun, but I like over-engineering all my parts just so that I know that it'll go. And it's not like I don't have the extra cash to do it. I know, you know, I could be saving more money so I could make my craft bigger or better. Oh no, let me get rid of those. Add engines, some more suitable engines now that I've got these side-mounted boosters. 2,800. So show all 1.65 TWR versus a 1.18. I don't want it too high. That gives me more delta V this way. So this right here will be my actual transfer stage. So what I'm gonna do is command and control. Structural, I gotta attach these points right here to here, like that. I'm gonna have to add on here some nice RCS reaction wheels, like that. So basically this payload is side heavy, because I have this right here, so it's gonna want to lean that way. based off. So you always want your center of mass and your center of thrust basically right in line with each other, but since it's off to the left, it's going to try to go left. So that's why. Do these things even have gimbal? That's why I'm trying to see if these things have gimbal. I'm going to use a lot of gimbal motors instead of the non-gimbaling kind, because I want the what is this thing? Does it have gimbal? Oh, it has a lot of gimbal, and I know this one right here has gimbal as well, which is, I think, this one. Did I use this one right here? Yeah, the Wolfhound, and this is a Wolfhound. Yeah, so I know the Wolfhound has gimbal too, which is good, which is what you want. You want a lot of gimbaling range. But now, normally I would add below this, like that. But what I want to do to try to help prevent stuff is add side boosters, basically. And doing that, I'm going to add coupling. Alright, so get this back to sea level. Because we know I have 3,000 units still to be right there in a vacuum. Keeping it at sea level. I don't need parachutes, by the way. Command module facing the wrong way, I don't care. Empty crew cabins, yep. Missing ladder, yep. Docking ports use decouplers, yep. That is all fine. That is all what I want. But now I'm going to add these decouplers right here to the sides, like that, but only in sets of 2. Okay, in sets of 2 like that, those side decouplers, we will add the fuel tanks I need, these larger fuel tanks. I'm sure I'm going to need the large orange ones. Where are you? There you are. I think that's the large orange one. No, this one's the large orange one. I don't like that they got rid of the default from orange to whatever it is now. Why are you like that? That makes no sense whatsoever for you to be in like that. Okay, so doing that, I will now it's not what I wanted to do. I didn't want to duplicate those. Set this in sets of 2 again. Why is it? What in the world? What is happening right now? Let's go set you to sets of 1. Just put you on manually at sets of 1. No, I don't want you there. I want you on the there. Alright. Set you on here. Like that. So you're actually on the decouplers. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is add command and control up top. Yeah, I have a lot of these. I really need a lot of these command and control units because I do not make very effective craft. I don't think I do, at least. But anyway, come back down here. We're going to grab these twin bores right here. Add a twin bore there. Add a twin bore there. That gives me 22,205 meters per second delta V there. We add aerodynamic here. Again, everything right here is going to be extremely gimbalable, or so to have control. What I can do We have 2,199 units there. This should be able to make it, in theory. What I'm going to do is add engines. So I can add these things right here. Where are you? Down here. I'm going to add up here, facing that way, in a set of... No. Just sets of 1. Add these things in. What this is going to do now is separate these. These are little solid rocket boosters. And then using these, we'll separate the actual pieces from the rocket. When I am, let me do this real quick and add that to this one and that to this one. Basically what's going to happen is these boosters will fire at the same time as decoupling, and that will cause, let me get rid of that real quick. Let me get rid of that real quick too. Let me duplicate this guy like that, and now with them like that, all of these firing at the same... Alright. All these will fire at the same time. Like that. So basically what we'll have is these two engines will fire, and the two will decouple with all those side boosters firing, sending the pieces away, and then these engines will fire. These 5 engines will fire. Now if I did this right, structural, let's go ahead and strut these together real quick. That way they are set up in a decently enough way. Strut these right here to that. Strut this right here to that. Now this should make it to the mun. I have 2,000 meters per second there, 3,000 in that upper stage. That should get me to the mun, land on the mun, and all that other fun stuff. And then what I'm going to do is add in here, come to the crew, pilot, copilot, yeah, that'll work. Will be Jebediah. I will add the Bill, will be added to the hitchhiker storage container. I don't want anyone inside of the rover just yet. And then Bob will be in the mobile processing lab. And that way, and then once it's touched down, I'll move Bill and Jeb to the rover, and then we'll get this stuff added in. Actually, I'll just move Jeb to the rover. And that being said, this should, in theory, work. In theory. Alright, let's go ahead and launch this out. We'll see. Hopefully the gimbaling vectoring range is high enough on the lower stage to not cause something to tip over. This is a very top heavy craft, So more than likely we'll have um, difficulties in moving. We'll see. Alright. I didn't even check the thrust weight ratio on this lower stage. But we'll see how it goes. Alright, so see it's facing right there. What I want to do, which is a good reason I have this docking port up here. Come up to the docking port right here. Control from there. So now we're facing back straight up again. Like that. Let me not forget to do this. And not forget to do this. The reason why I want to add the science units to this as well is so that the lab can actually utilize the science. But anyway, let's go ahead and cut throttle all the way down. Hit launch. About 3/4 is what you need to get off the ground. Again, we want to start this off slowly. See how this actually reacts. This thing's going to want to tilt towards the north. Alright, I should be able to do about right there. Should be fine for getting where I want to go. Then I'm about 100 meters per second. I'm going to try to attempt a gravity turn. And if that doesn't work, then I am going to just keep going straight up and figure out an efficient way of doing this. And starting the gravity turn now. This is really trying to overcompensate and go, oh no, it was going to the north is what I said. It is the direction it would want to try to move. These reaction wheels are doing very well right now. I just hope I have enough. I'm starting to lose control a little bit. Let's go ahead and open it up so we have our max gimbal range. So we still have more control, max gimbaling, because now we have more thrust to assist us in trying to keep it at the 90-degree angle. Setting up the next module to MUN is going to be a lot easier because it's not going to have the rover on it. And I just don't have big enough fairings for the rover right now. So we're sending this to the MUN to expand on our base's footprint, hopefully gather some science from the MUN, and utilize that. Come on, you can do this, you can do this. Don't lose control, and we have lost control. So let's revert flight. Let's revert the flight to the launch. And we'll try to 3/4 is what we had to get liftoff. We'll set it to 3/4. And we'll go more inefficient. Basically, the more inefficient, the more stable the craft is going to be. Vertical launch. Come on now. Because it's not going to try to tip over by... I guess I could face it so that I could try to rotate it, the entire rocket, into a certain orientation to try to keep it facing it, you know, so the weight of it pulling down is going to be against the weight, the drag. That might work as well, but I'm going to try the more inefficient way of doing things. Like I said, I need to get this video done and actually have some positive force with this video. In order to get the stuff, whatchamacallit, control from here. Set that to, not all the way down. I want to set it to 3/4 throttle, maybe just above, and stage. And let's rotate the entire rocket other direction. It. I'm going to try this rotating to 90, basically sort of like what the space shuttle did, sort of. I don't know, I didn't just launch in this direction, but we'll see. We can slow it down just a little bit. I could add control surfaces to this, the lower stage, so to facilitate more like aerodynamic lift setup. But basically what I'm trying to do is keep this about right there to try to keep it from tipping. Get up to, again, about 100 meters per second. I'm going to try to do the gravity turn more, speed up a little bit now that we're slowly getting into the upper atmosphere. Slowly start to turn towards 90. Slowly increase. Moving. Try to follow the prograde above prograde instead of below it. That way we can try to keep it stable. Alright, now that once we get to about 10,000 meters, we'll open it up all the way. Slowly gravity turning, slowly gravity turning. Slowly making our way over. Alright, we made it higher than we did the last launch, which is good. Slowly making my way over to 10,000. Very slowly making my way over to 10,000. To 45. Once I get to 10,000, I'm going to open it up. Making my way to a 45-degree angle. Don't lose control. Don't lose control. And we lost control right at 10,000 meters. See if we can try to aim prograde. And got here and open it back up. See if we saved it. See if we saved it. Hopefully we saved it. Hopefully we could have saved the movement. Oh, I think we did. I think we saved it. Whew. That was an unexpected twist. I do not ever plan these things out. They just happen. Sitting right around 45 degrees till we hit 20,000 meters. And that should get us a decently laid out setup. Once we hit 20,000 meters, we're going to start heading down, which should also get us to our apparatus time about a minute. Alright. We're going to start setting this down in that direction. Setting it down a little bit more. Just watching our apparatus height. Alright, now once we do this, you'll notice those things will separate like that. And turn that off. It's glitching out because of the actual speed at which those things are firing, and there's multiple things firing, so it's moving rather slow right now with all those extra parts and whatnot. Alright, once we get back in that general direction, we'll start firing again. And this should speed us up enough. Hopefully we'll have enough for the landing I'm attempting. With all this gimbal and everything. I always underestimate the orbital stage and how long it's going to take me and all that other stuff. Or the, yeah. I could have made this more efficient by having those outer fuel tanks released in onion style setup. I still want to increase my vertical speed and horizontal speed at the same time. So that's why I'm trying to keep it at a higher level. We'll see where we get to. We should have enough, just enough to do a MUN landing with this, if my calculations are somewhat correct. If we need 600 to land, another 300 to circularize, so it'll be 900, another 800 to get to the height, leaves 1700. Once my apparatus hits 70,000, I'm going to start burning flat-ish to try to get more horizontal speed. Actually, I should probably start burning flat-ish now. But still have enough vertical speed. Let's see this. I realized that entire flight with my landing gear still down. So it could have been a bit more efficient if I would have kept my landing gear up. Right. So now let's go to holding prograde. So it should be a rather cheaper burn. I might have to send a refueling module up to refuel these fuel tanks in order to land on the MUN though, which is something we should be able to do, especially since we have that docking around the MUN contract. So probably going to end up what I need to do. We'll get to a low MUN orbit, build a payload around that craft or the stuff, but we'll see. Let's go ahead and time warp up a little bit until we get to our 70 kilometer mark. We have an apparatus is 77 kilometers, and it's still 3 minutes away. So we should be fine. We are still in the atmosphere, so we're still slowing down a little bit. But right now it should be just fine. Alright. Let's go ahead and speed up to our apparatus this time. Hold prograde. I overshot it a little bit, but I have enough height. I should just be able to do this. I have 1,400 meters per second. I'm in orbit. I don't think I have enough for a landing. But let's extend these solar panels out on the rover. That way they can get as much solar charge as I can get. But let's go ahead and go to a Mun orbit. Like I said, this is probably going to have a Mun refuel, which is something I actually plan on doing. Set as target. So what we're going to want to do to try to conserve delta V is normally I do a high orbit and then I come down. So what I'm going to try to do now is find the low orbit spot, so below it, so I can try to save a little bit, every speck of delta V I can. Alright. Get closer. I basically launched in a Mun transfer window. $800. Yeah, I don't think I'm not gonna have enough to circularize, but I will have enough to get, or not to circularize to land, but I will have enough to circularize there. So I will end up docking this vessel, docking with it, refueling it, and then we'll end up landing it. 41 seconds means we need a 20 second burn at prograde. Could probably get a counter better now. This goes. we still have 600, so we just don't have enough Delta V to land on the Mun by like 200 meters per second, which is bad, which I could have gotten possibly by actually not flying my landing gear down. Alright, and then we will go at 66 kilometers. That's 12 kilometers. It's perfect. I'm going to want to get on an equatorial height, so I am going to go to my periapsis, or apoapsis, add the maneuver at apoapsis. Go ahead and go other direction. About right there, add a prograde so I can extend my periapsis out to about right there is fine. Yeah, that's basically an equatorial orbit, basically, with a periapsis of 11,000 meters. So we needed to go anti-normal, I think is what it was. So come here to anti-normal. I might end up just having to send the rover up as its own thing and hope, and then adding the modules, which is why I set up the rover and the modules the way I did, was that way I could just use the rover once, send rover once. We'll see. Let's go ahead and enable time warp mode, time warp up, and then I don't know if you noticed, but my orbital stuff changed a little bit. And then we'll warp to next maneuver. Alright, so it was in the anti-normal position. So what I'm going to do now is stability assist, because it's not going to give me a whole lot to do much with. I'm going to go to maneuver mode, or holding there, and then we will burn at, you know, when we get there. And then we'll circularize. We'll send up another craft to refuel it, which will have another pilot on it, so we can do the loud lazy method. Actually, we can't do the loud lazy method because we don't have enough proper stuff on here right now. So I'll end up docking it. Which is going to be fun. I hate docking. Alright, we're going to focus view right here. Set this to right here and try to get our orbital stuff where we want it. set you right there. Which will be fine right there. Right. And then we'll warp here, burn retrograde. Once we burn retrograde, we'll get our apparatus about the same height. But if I was already in a circular orbit, I should have enough, but I just have enough to circularize without getting any more. So what we're going to do is we're going to burn. In retrograde. No, I want to go prograde a little bit now. I don't want to start a landing sequence just yet. I pressed down, but it didn't decelerate in time, so I'm going to go burn prograde. Alright, that's where I about want it. 11 and 14. Now let's go ahead and build our refueling thing. Alright, let's go ahead and go to the Space Center. This should be a lot easier to craft at pilot. Alright, so we need to build the craft. I want to try to rescue all, because I still have about an hour left. Yeah, about an hour, about 50 minutes. I'm going to try to build the craft as fast as I can. Dock, do the base extension, start my science return. From Mun. So I'm going to do this specifically. So, we know how much fuel this has because it's just the smaller, bigger, and 4 of these. So what I'm going to do now is build that exactly. Okay, get rid of that. Goodbye. But also I want to rescue Kerbals. That way I get more Kerbals. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 5 Kerbals to rescue, so I need to make sure I have 6 Kerbal capacity. 1, 2, 3. And then the hitchhikers will be 7. 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go. This is going to be my return module. I will add a fuel tank. This bigger fuel tank right here. Alright. Coupling. I'll take that bigger fuel tank off. Goodbye. Add thermal. Add some thermal protection. Decoupler. add lights first of all. I always forget the lights. Set that in groups of 3. Out of the way of the pod. Alright, so now I know I have the lights on there. Utility, the parachutes. I'm going to add right here 4 parachutes, and then up here 4 drogue chutes. So I'm going to set this staging up. So I want the drogue chutes first, then the parachute second, and the decoupling before all of that. Okay. So now this right here, rescue, surface outpost, explore, which we're going to do, rescue, surface outpost, rescue. So yeah, basically get rid of all our rescues, and then plant flag on the MUN, more than likely as well. Empty crew cabins, I know, crew, I want to get rid of you and you, just keep Valentina there, build, engine. So basically this right here is going to be my return and whatnot craft. So this is going to have a lot of delta V on it. So the first portion of the whatnot is going to be rescuing. So I don't need a lot for mass. So this is going to be delta V in a vacuum. This right here is going to be my recovery. So what I'm going to do first is dock and send fuel over, drop off the fuel payload, but this is going to be my recover Kerbals from space stage. So what I'll do is structural, bring that back to sea level, add a structural coupling, command and control. I always forget to add these things, and then I remember to have to tear the entire thing apart to get it. So anyway, we have that. We have, I could add this right here to this craft, but and that would allow me to have hold towards target, away from target, all that other fun stuff. But actually, I'm going to do that. That's going to be done. Control, structural, add just one of these. That's all I need, one. You guys aren't going to like me at all. I can already tell. And a control. This way I'll be able to have this one holding towards target, the other one can face away from target, and move you. Oh, come on now. Go inside of there. Go inside of there. Oh, it doesn't let me do parts clipping anymore. Won't let it go in. Ha! I guess I'm not going to do that. Normally it lets me put stuff inside of the whatnot, but it didn't that time. Oh well. Anyway, anywho. Coupling. And that. And that. And now the fuel tanks that we are going to need is going to be one of these. Right here. And one of these right here. And 4 of these right here. Alright. So this is going to be the stage that will refuel. Actually, I'm not going to need all that fuel. I could probably just get away with this right here itself. Yeah, I'll just get away with that right there. That should give me enough fuel to actually let me do a slightly larger one. Yeah, slightly larger one. This will definitely give me enough fuel to land on the MUN. with that stuff. Coupling. We'll add another one of these. We'll add our side. We'll add that in sets of 6. We'll add engines. Not engines. Fuel pods. We're going to add these guys right here. In sets of 6. Engines on the bottom with the gimbal. I don't normally use these engines anymore since I have these larger engines set out. So got these guys right here. And then in a vacuum, those guys are going to have 1,200 meters per second. Which I might need a little bit more fuel on that. Fuel tanks. Where are ya? Let's add these ones right here. 1,700 meters per second. That should be good. Good enough for what I need it to do. Command and control. I could have just added more engines around it. Gone from 6 to 8. But yeah, no. Aerodynamics. Added in that. Structural. Added in this and that. Get the staging right. Basically, hopefully what I can do is get it docked, transfer the fuel from this tank, which I'm going to not allow fuel flow from. Transfer fuel from that tank to the lander. Return, deorbit this, decouple, and then send with this upper stage back into orbit, rescue the Kerbals, and do what I need to do. Structural from here to there, like that. Okay, that should be structurally sound enough. What I'm gonna now do is I'm gonna need to make my fuel tanks, big oranges, because I'm gonna try to put about 4,000 units of meters per second of delta V on this lower stage. Maybe that'll get me to orbit. That's 1,300. No, I want just a singular. That's 700. So big orange it is. Almost doubles the delta V. What's a TWR? Right now 1.19. Alright, that's 1,300 meters per second. And now what I can do is coupling. Set in sets of 2. Right here, and sets of not that 2, that 2. Add these engines again. That puts me at 2,000 right there. And then we will add these guys right here. That puts me at... Well, it's still set to vacuum. sea level. Let's add fuel tanks to these things. Let's make the staging right first. So first ones to go are going to be these ones. So I need to add the fuel lines from here to there, and then the fuel lines from these to that. And now that will, with these two decoupling first. Why isn't it reading? Come on now. Alright. Fuel tanks. Something's not reading right anymore. Something's not reading right anymore. Command and control. Aerodynamics. Alright, let's just make sure that it's staged right down here for this. So the first ones that are going are the ones that are on the outer, and then the inner. So yeah, it is staged right for a asparagus setup. Structural. Like that. This should work. And potential. What I'm going to do now is add these separatrons. Engines, separatrons. Should be like that. 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 So now these all go into the second one. Right there. You know what? I'm just gonna get rid of these separatrons. I don't need them. It's making my staging. It's difficult to stage. I'm trying to speed build this. So fixing all the staging stuff that's going on with it Probably not. I'll end up building one of these boosters as a sub-assembly eventually, but that's the only way I'll be able to make this stuff actually work. And make sure it keeps this right staging. Anyway, got this, add some solar panels to this, just so that I have solar panels. Use large solar panels. And we will actions group 1 will be to toggle solar panels. And let's go ahead and launch this. It should, in theory, work with its stuff set up. I have a ridiculously high thrust to weight ratio, so I'll have to set this throttle down low. Everything's shredded together. My onion staging, asparagus staging is set up. We'll see. We have about half an hour. I'm going to go a little bit over because I don't have to be to work for another 2 hours, 2.5 hours. So we'll see how this goes. Let me change the timer for give me another 20 minutes for this timer. That should work. Get my SAS on. Get my little thing there working, and then we will launch. Wait, why are you down there? I had this right here. Is that why I was reading? Because I was reading the staging wrong? Make sure the staging's right now. Yeah, staging is right. So yeah, that's more than 4,000 units of delta V there. Meters per second of delta V there. I don't know why I keep saying units, but anyway, what's my thrust to weight ratio? 2. So yeah, it is rather high, which is good. So let's go ahead and turn the throttle down to about there, I'd say. About right there. I was close. I'm gonna have over-engineered this rocket so much. I'm gonna have so much delta V that go above everything else I need to go to. Alrighty then. Once we get to 100, we're gonna start our gravity turn. And we're getting up to 100 meters per second rather fast. So I have a ridiculously high thrust to weight ratio on this thing. Alright, starting our gravity turn. I forgot to set this to maneuver mode. Again. I'll eventually remember to do it every time. Eventually. Go ahead and speed up a little bit now. Now we're in the upper parts of the atmosphere. Not really, we're still in the lower atmosphere, but we are high enough where we should have plenty of there goes those two stages. So the Separatrons would have prevented that from happening, the explosions. Speed up a little bit more. Because we're almost at 10 kilometers and we're not where we want to be exactly. Alright, keep about 45. Open it up. We're at about 45-degree angle. Until we hit 20. To which we'll do that and get rid of those things. Alright, now we're at 20. Let's go ahead and start increasing our height, our angle of attack, decreasing it down closer to prograde. We'll follow prograde down a bit. So give us to 1800 meters per second, which we should be getting to an orbital speed. Should be able to get to the Mun with this. Alright, we're cutting through the atmosphere rather quickly. Our apparatus is still rather low. We'll keep about right there for now. We do have a decently... Let's go ahead and increase our apparatus a little bit more. There's no point in having a fast horizontal speed if my apparatus isn't high enough. Keep about right there until we get to our 70 kilometers mark, and then we'll head back to a more flat, actually we can go back more flat trajectory now. Just over the 70 kilometer mark, so let's go ahead and move this way until our apparatus starts either staying the same or dropping almost. I don't actually want it to drop just yet, but get it to that almost mark. Go ahead and aim prograde. I don't have very good reaction wheels on this thing at all. I don't think I have any. No, I do have one. So once I get to 70 kilometers, we'll extend our solar panels out. Extend these solar panels out like that. That'll keep our electrical charge up. I can. Oh, I don't know. Oh, our electric charge ran out, and that's why weren't moving. Makes sense now. All right. So now let's go ahead and time warp up to our apparatus. Okay. And once we get to the T-0, we will move it to become 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, still have 1100 meters per second in this stage, which 800 to get to I might need to probably going to need to transfer fuel into one of the 2 of these, decouple the other 4, and do that once I get to the MUN in order to get my Delta V up. Resume flight. Let's go ahead, and I didn't mean to click on that one. We are going to go ahead and set the MUN as the target. Want a little bit after periapsis is where we're going to want this, and maneuver there, because we're going to want to try to go with the most efficient. And that will be right there. Focus view. And now we will move it closer to us. 2-minute burn time. And that will get our periapsis rather low. And 2 minutes, that puts us at 1 minute 23 seconds before. About there. 4, 3, 2. Right. It's about there. I don't know if you notice this, we're exiting with the rotation of the MUN. Very close to it. So they say max the amount of for your gravity assist. And we're exiting with the rotation of, so with rotation with the orbital direction of the MUN. So that means that our apoapsis and periapsis height are going to be higher than what we enter the MUN with. Alright, so we're doing our prograde burn right now. Hopefully we can gather the science stuff from the biome we're landing in and start our investigations of it. I will attempt to gather science on the high above the mine and whatnot. That way we can maximize the amount of science we have. But yeah. Actually, this isn't, you know, a science on it. Never mind. I'm thinking weird. Even with the... No, we don't have any solar. Well, these engines don't have the best electrical generation. Nice and slow and long burns. The more efficient the engine, the less thrust to weight ratio it normally has. That being said, so it takes longer, you know, for your burns. That being said, sometimes it'll be better to have a higher thrust engine with a higher efficiency, with a lower efficiency, to make your burns not as tedious and long as this. Alright, let's go ahead and burn prograde a bit more until we get right. That's auto saving. I hate when it auto saves like that. About there. With our periapsis at 26,000 meters. Oh, that's better. That's not the greatest right there. Periapsis 21. That's fine. What we want to do is go to our highest point, so closest point to the Mun. Add a moon over there. It's going to go in the normal direction. Yeah, normal direction right there. That should give us about a whatnot. And let's go ahead and give it a little bit of prograde. Nope, retrograde. Like that, and there we go. So now what we want to do is point anti-normal, or normal. We just made it to sunlight. I like it. Speed up a little bit. Warp to the next maneuver is about 2 seconds, so 1 second before. If you notice, my relays aren't that strong for a craft that doesn't have an extra antenna. But anyway, anywho, let's go ahead and exit warp mode. Get right there. Like that. solar panels are facing the sun. Let's go ahead and rotate them so they're getting direct sunlight like that. Exactly like that. And then we will burn rather shortly to where we want to go. Set as target that. Oh. There's that. What's going to happen is I'm going to point retrograde now. And then we'll warp to our periapsis. Alright. We will burn our retrograde. About right there. Alright. So we will come up here. Alright, let's go in here first. We're going to transfer some fuel from here. No, we're going to transfer all the fuel from the other crafts into there. So this one and this one will all go into this one right here. And then you're going to stay open. This one and this one are all going to go into here. Like that. Okay. And now into this one right here. It's going to go this one. This one. And this one. And this one. Like that. So now, if I do this, I have 163 meters per second. This one right here has the, nope. This one has the most fuel. So decouple this with 163, 167, 172. So we know it's this one. 177, 182. Let's go ahead and do that. And that in on that one and in on that one. And then and do that. And that. This is going to set my center of mass further back. And then what I can do is click on this one, click on this one, go in and in, stop and stop, and in and stop, 214 meters per second, then in and in, and stop and stop, and 253 meters per second. This should be enough, hopefully. If not, I have more fuel in here to do what I need to do. Alright, so now we're going to go up to here, to our apparatus. We'll add maneuver. What's our descending node at right now? 1.4. Let's go to our ascending node and add maneuver. There. Go anti-normal, I think, is what we need to do. No, we need to go normal. You want them basically like around there should be fine. That should be about 0. Alright. And which one are we going? Normal. So we'll go normal. We will warp to next maneuver. It will take us 1 second to do the 2 meters per second. Oh wait. Let me get rid of this maneuver real quick. So now what I'm going to do is that should put our descending node about at the 0 point. That's close enough for me. With our periapsis, now let's go ahead and point retrograde. Head up to our apparatus. And we'll burn retrograde until we are matching their periapsis of 11,000 meters. Alright, so now we'll go to our new periapsis. Right here. We'll add a maneuver there. And you'll watch this as it's going. My orange and purples are on opposite sides. We'll hit retrograde until we get our purple to be about right. Oh, a little bit too far. Follow it around to be about right there. Come on now. A little bit more. Oh, a little too much. 475. Negative 1.4. Look at that. Right there. It's perfect. and this will give us separation of 0.4 kilometers at 178 meters per second, and this will give us 1.4 meters per second to do. So that'll give us 178, gives us 70 meters per second left over to do our final maneuvering and stuff like that, which will work, should work. So now what we're going to do is we're going to warp to the next maneuver. It is so minor in difference in height. Point at retrograde. Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Like that. Let's go ahead and keep it pointing retrograde right now. I'm gonna want to. I want to burn prograde now. Let's point prograde, and we will slowly speed up and burn to where we need to burn to. Burn retrograde just a teensy bit. Let's go ahead and turn our engines down to about 3 and 3. Right there. Pointing retrograde. And voila. Right about there. 0.1 kilometers, 178 meters per second. We can make this work. Alright, now what we're going to do is go to target, aim at retrogrades, we will warp to, alright, so that is, and so it's add a maneuver, right there, add a maneuver, negative 178 meters per second. Meters per second, and that gives us a, what's it say, minute and 18 with a 22 meter per second. So minute and 18 seconds is what I need to worry about. So probably right around 44 seconds, and I'll cut that. 22 seconds before. Let's go 30 seconds. 30 seconds before I hit my reaching my target, I will start burning retrograde. So let's warp here. It's about 30 seconds before start burning retrograde. We'll turn our lights on. We'll get this to work out. Up. So many parts on that thing flying by it right now. Probably should have done 44 seconds before. Let's go ahead and burn towards target. Let's go ahead and burn towards target. Retrograde to target, because it looks like we're on a landing trajectory and I don't want that, but we should get close enough to the target that we are I've always hated docking. I have about 12 minutes. So once I get done with this will be the first time I actually leave Valentina in space. So once I get done with this docking procedure, I'll have to get ready for work. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But this craft has plenty of LTV to get to and from base, and not base, to and from Kerbin, and yeah. So we'll continue the next episode after we do this docking procedure. 7, 6. Alright. So that docking port is still the target. So what I'm going to do is point towards target. And then swap to that one, point towards target, and have it set target to this. And point towards target. Oh, a little bit too much. Now I do have RCS on this thing still, so I'll be able to use RCS. Oh, come on now, come on now, come on now. I'm almost back exactly where I was before. A little bit too far, that too fast that time. I'll point towards target. If I had level 3 Kerbals, this would be, we'll be able to do the loud lazy method of it, but we don't. So yeah, this is what we're stuck with. Alright, let's go ahead and swap to the untitled spacecraft. You know, let's quick save this right now. Save game, quick save, save. Alright, let's come over here and change type to not a station. What do I want? What don't I have any of? Rename vessel. We'll change it to refuel. Slash recovery. And I don't have any landers, so I'm going to change this type to a lander. Yeah, so it's not a ship. Click accept. Then we'll save game as quick save. Yes, overwrite it. Alright. Pointing towards target. We'll go to the tracking station. Basically what I'm going to do is keep on swapping between these two, keep pointing towards target until they are basically always pointing towards each other, and then swap to the other one and point towards this one with the RCS. Point towards, move it forward and continuously move it, but I don't want... Alright, so I have a lander. I don't care about the stations. Don't care about the debris. Don't care about the bases. Just want these two right here. So... I don't want rovers. I want lander. I want lander. Just want these two right here. Okay, fly. Alright, so now we'll go ahead and aim that docking port right there as the target by double clicking X or pressing square and set as target, because it doesn't want to set as target like that. And then basically if I had 3 level 3 Kerbal, 2 level 3 pilot Kerbals, I would be able to do the quote unquote loud lazy method. Which is just, you know, pointing them towards each other. And then having them hold towards target on each of them. Whoop, I went a little bit too far there. Come on now. Alright, good. Didn't end up losing it. But yeah, after this gets docked and refueled, then this is where I will leave the Kerbals at. So then I have to get ready for work. Okay. Switch to. And I am looking at that docking port. So I will now point it towards target. I will retract my solar panels because I need them retracted. I don't want them getting broken. Aim towards target. Set this to docking mode after I get it aiming towards target. Whenever you do this, you don't want to go over like half a meter per second too, because doing that, or not half, 0.5 meters per second. You want to go nice and slowly towards the target. Alright, now we are going to swap to this. Turn our lights on. No, I want my lights on. Zoom in. RCS on. Let's go. Left. Go down a little bit. Basically, we're going to want our prograde right on towards target. So that's where our target's going to be. And then we're going to swap to rotation, turn our RCS off, and we will aim our ship towards the target. Like that. So swap our thing back to, once we get it to hold towards target, swap it back to linear, and then go try to get that directly towards target like that again, and then swap over to rotational, get our craft aiming directly towards the target again. If you keep on doing that, it'll eventually dock itself together. And I hate docking because it does that. Like, it almost docks, but then it doesn't. And then we just give a little thrust forward like that, and it should dock. Alright, let's go ahead and move. Like that. Just move it around a little bit. That's my alarm saying get ready to start going to work. Swap over to this mode. We will rotate the entire craft some. Did that do it? That did it! Rotating the entire craft a little bit fixed it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is we have successfully docked, which is a thing we needed to do. I need to transfer fuel from here like that into this one right here. And then I saw 670 left there. I'll transfer. That won't work. But that should be enough for my craft. And then I'll transfer into these outer modules here. The upper ones, not the lower ones. Fill those up. What this is effectively going to be doing is giving me enough fuel to deorbit the lower, enough fuel to land the craft, and then yeah, once this is once all the transfer is done, I am going to say sayonara. It was a great video. At least we got to dock. I can change the name to Docking in Space or Docking the Mun. We didn't get to do what I planned on doing, but when do we ever get to do what I plan on ever doing on these videos? Alright, we'll go in on this one. And on this one. basically I'm just emptying this lower tank to make sure that it is, you know, whatnot. And I only need enough fuel to deorbit, so that's why I'm going to be going the last two, the lower stages, um, which I have plenty of fuel in here to deorbit, honestly. Um, honestly, I could have just gone. Actually, because yeah, these things, yeah, this has plenty of deorbital fuel in it. So what I'm going to do now is just come over here, go back to these uppers, and take the fuel back out of them, because I don't need it. I thought I might have needed it, but then I realized that I'm so close to having a deorbital trajectory that I don't need that. So I'm going to transfer all this fuel to the landing stage, because I can. And this, just make sure that this upper, my Kerbal recovery stage, is still full. Yes, it is. So I didn't I didn't click the thing to get the whatchamacallit stuff. Well, the whatchamacallit stuff out. But basically what I'm going to do is click again until it's there. Go in and in. And now all the fuel, liquid fuel, all the oxidizer that I'm going to be needing for the deorbit is going to be in the deorbital stage. Everything else is going to be my lander stage. I'll do one final set of checks just to make sure everything is good. Get rid of that. And so transferring all that fuel, one, it will increase my thrust weight ratio for my this lower deorbital stage, so I need even less fuel to deorbit it. Two, gives me enough fuel on there to guarantee I can land wherever I want to. And three, so all I have to do is click on this, make sure that has no fuel in it, click on this, make sure that has full fuel, click on this, make sure it has little fuel, click on this one, little fuel, no fuel, and no fuel. And that is that. So this is where I'm going to be leaving the Kerbal Space Program video with. Let me extend these right here out, so just so that we have more, you know, solar panels. I hate docking, I really do. I just, in the video, realized what I need to do to make the docking work. Like, literally just did. Like, when I said make sure the point towards target and try to keep it pointing towards target, and then use the linear to go left, right, so you have your prograde towards the target. Yeah, that was figured out in this episode. I've been playing this 9 years, and it took me that long to actually figure out that's how you dock with monopropellant stuff. That's the best way I'd be able to explain it, at least. And then minor rotation got me docked. But yeah. I will see you guys in the next video. Like I said, I'll probably be on Saturday, because I start work again in actually an hour and a half, so I have to shave and all this other fun stuff, get my uniform ready and whatnot. So I will see you guys in the next video. Let me do this real quick though and go back to the Space Center before I say goodbye again. That way you know I'm at the Space Center. I'm not making any other changes behind your back. But yeah, see you guys next video. This way it saves it, so it's already done. Okay, and this is that. Um, see you guys next video. Adios.